Our quest to find a black pearl has been quite the adventure. We've had bad weather.
The clouds are making it look so dramatic.
We were nearly kidnapped by pirates.
I don't know if that's like a pirate ransom situation.
And we almost ran aground.
We're less than a boat length away from the reef right there.
Twice.
There's a mummy right there!
If you've been watching our channel for a while, you'll know that things don't always go to plan. We've had to fix things. We've faced some scary situations. We've crossed continents and even oceans. But sometimes, just sometimes, the risks pay off big time.
Come to Ahe, this atoll in the very, very far north of the Tuamotus in French Polynesia. And we are here for one reason and one reason only. We are on a quest.
We are on a quest for a black pearl, which is something that basically whole French Polynesia is very world renowned for. Black pearls. In fact, you may know it from things like the Pirates of the Caribbean. The suggestion is that's where the name comes from. It's actually all the way out here. So we've been told if we look hard enough, we can find one.
We have been chatting to the people here who live in the village. We spoke with the mayor. She pointed us... As you do.
Just catch that. We just happened to bump into the mayor.
Best buddies now.
Walked straight into the office. Hi.
She pointed us in the direction of a farm down on the next motu. And we have met a guy called Matu Iki who is going to show us how to become pearl farmers. You can tell that we're very, very experienced in this area. So yeah, let's get started.
What can go wrong?
We're heading in to meet Matu Iki this morning, who is hopefully going to show us like the process of what you actually do to farm a pearl. I'm hoping we're actually going to find one today. Maybe we'll be rich by sunset.
I suspect we will. I mean, I think every pearl farmer actually has like a Rolls Royce stashed around the back.
Private jet to just like pop over to Tahiti.
It'll be fun to find out because like pearl farming has been a very lucrative business.
Yeah,
so
yeah, there was a massive like boom 20 years ago, and now I think they said there were 100 farms here, and now there are only 10. So it's in somewhat of a decline, but
or scarcity.
Oh, there you go,
demand.
Driving up the price.
There you go.
So yeah, we're going to be billionaires by the end of the day. So we're very close to the shore, but there is like a little barrier reef that we have to get past, and all the gaps are so narrow. We're just trying to like pick the best one and try and sneak through. This is going to have to be some expert driving.
It's going to be something.
Good so far, and then yeah, I guess we just sort of like go around here.
Looking good.
Nice. Oh, that was close.
A little bit close.
It's like a lagoon within a lagoon. If the perfectly flat water out there was, you know, too rolly for us, then the absolutely perfectly mirror flat lake is, you know, where we want to be.
It's about 2 feet deep. Slightly nervous because I keep seeing lines, which are presumably old pearl float lines, like just lying on the sand.
So, yes, let's try and not get tangled.
It would be a bad way to introduce ourselves. Hello, we've come and destroyed your entire pearl farm.
Sorry.
All right, time to get to work. Let's see what Matu Iki's been working on. Hopefully, we'll get to see the whole process from start to finish.
There's so many cages here. If you look around and they're just like all stacked up in these bundles, you kind of get an idea of the scale of the farm. Combien de personnes travaillent ici? Yeah, so only 2 people work here in this whole area. This is the thing I find the most fascinating. Like, you can get natural pearls, which grow basically like it starts as a grain of sand or something that's an irritant inside the oyster, and then it gradually like puts layers around it and it gets bigger and bigger. But if you're starting with a grain of sand, it's not necessarily like a perfect sphere. And so when you get the pearl, it ends up like a really wonky shape, or it's got like grooves in it, or it's sort of lopsided. And so typically for like more commercially minded businesses, they'll start with like, they'll actually put a nucleus in. And then it means that when the pearl grows around that, you get that perfect sphere shape at the end when you, a year later, when you take the pearl out. And they're the ones that people like to wear. But I quite like the wonky ones. These are like all the little stubby baby ones that have come out natural, just all put together in a ring. That's amazing.
I know.
Oh, I love it. That is really cool. So the first graft, like after 1 year, you would get this size of pearl. And then when they take that out, they put a nucleus in that is the same size as the pearl they took out. So when they come back a year later, the pearl is bigger. And then when you come the third year, so the big pearls that you find have come from the like more adult oysters,
Plusieurs fois.
3 or 4 years old or even
Tout
more.
dépend de la récolte.
So in the pearl farms, they like have these strings of pearls out away from the shore, hanging on all the pearl floats that we've seen. But when it's time to harvest them, to save on manpower, they just bring in a few strings at a time like this one and just leave them in, I guess, the shallower waters, and the fish like know where the cleaning stations are. So the fish just come in and eat all of the stuff that's been growing on the oysters, and then they're ready to actually be harvested, and they don't have to spend ages like scrubbing them and getting the bits off and stuff.
Ici, ils sont sur le sable. C'est pas bon. Hein?
Okay, where? Okay.
C'est préférable sur les lignes là-bas.
Ah, okay.
Pour profondeur.
Okay.
Voilà, préférable pour lui. Ici, c'est juste pour faire la manipulation, la greffe. Après, on est là.
Yeah, so it takes 1 year for a pearl to grow. So they put the oysters out there, and then they have to wait for a year and then bring them back in and then harvest them and find if it's worked and see what's inside. Et combien de huit sur chaque cage?
15 nœuds.
15. Okay, so there's 15 oysters on each string, and then
Doublé.
oh, one on
Chaque
each
nœud
side.
est là.
Okay.
En gros, ça fait 30.
So there's 15 on each string, and then they put that inside the cage to protect from bigger fish coming and actually like eating the oysters, and then be like, oh, I've got none left. So they sort of have to protect it enough, but then they bring it in for the little fish to actually do the cleaning.
And how's it connected to the string? The connection. Ah, okay.
Okay, so they actually tie them on with like almost like fishing line. It's like little plastic. You can hardly see it. So they tie it on to begin with, and then I'm guessing it sort of settles and actually grows on that.
Après, on pêche aussi les narques, hein,
Oh, so yeah, they literally drill a hole in the shell so that they can tie it on.
qu'on attache. Hein.
Wait. Trying to remember my French to ask, does that hurt the poor little oyster?
Charnière, hein, c'est ici la charnière.
Ah, it's in the shell, not the muscle.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, it's like those in the 90s or the early 2000s where you'd get, like, you'd grow your fingernail out and then pierce your thumbnail and put a little ring and a jewel on the, you can tell I went to an old girls' school, can't you?
We're learning a lot about you right now. Yeah.
Là, il doit avoir 3 ans et demi, 4 ans, presque.
Okay, 3 or 4 years old, these ones. So
Okay.
yeah, you can see how they're all tied on in pairs. So I think there's 8 pairs and 16.
Bon.
Ah, so yeah, when they've cracked open, you can see they're dead already. But the ones that are still together, they're still viable.
So what makes this process in French Polynesia particularly interesting, and here in Ahe, is that it's a generational thing. So it's not like a one-time and then kill off the oyster. The oyster actually has a full life, and it's essentially like harvesting with cows. You're milking the cow, you put the cow back into the field, you bring it back in to get the next yield, and out it goes again. It's kind of the same deal. So it's actually a really nice sort of eco-centric way of farming.
Les différentes tailles. Hein.
Yeah. C'est la même âge?
Non.
No, okay. So you can see the difference in ages of these ones. This is so much bigger, so it's definitely older than this one. Yeah, this one's massive.
Manger là les poissons.
Oh, wow. Okay, so on here you can actually see like essentially the tooth marks from the fish that have been coming in and eating all of the stuff that grows on the outside. So all these little scratches, these are where the fish have come in and taken a bite out of whatever was growing on the outside. There's 20 that we just pulled off that string, and 2 of them are dead. You reckon that's about the right percentage? That's actually quite a good haul, so 10% of your crop to be dying off. And then we're going to show how easy it is. C'est trop facile.
Très professionnel.
I'm glad that wasn't me.
Ça dépend des nains.
Okay.
Comme là, j'ai pas pu réussir. Comme ça doit être facile, ça.
Ah oui.
Tu vois déjà le milieu. Hein?
Wait. So I'm going to try one. I did say, can you find me an easy one? And you have to like push down, open it up and push everything down. And try not to cut your hand open, because I don't think there's a hospital here. I'm so scared of breaking it. Like that? Nope. The gap's not very big. can't get that in there. I don't think my future is in pearl farming, but I'm determined. C'est très dur.
Ouais, c'est très dur.
That's as best as I could do.
Après, tu avais appris.
Okay, and so you get it in, and then you sort of lever it open and shove this in to keep your spot. Is that enough? Yeah? Success, look right there! Pearl farmers are us!
C'est pas vraiment comme ça, mais ça va.
He's like, yeah, good try. Do you want to do it properly?
Okay, so the scalpel is going in to make the small cut, which opens up where the pearl lives. It's being moved into that little dish tool, and then it can be brought out. Wow!
No way! That is so cool.
Magnifique!
Look at that! Yeah, it's got a slight teardrop, like slight egg shape to one side.
Look at that! That's so cool.
It's kind of greeny blue, isn't it?
It's such a gentle procedure.
Yeah.
And out it comes just
look
perfect.
At that. It's like purple.
Wow!
You really see the colour difference when you put them next to each other.
There's a small crab in this one.
What? No way!
They just keep coming.
Yeah. So these are like 1-year-old oysters. The first pearl that we're getting from them. They've been growing them hard at work for a year, and then this is the first graft taking them out.
Commencé à 1 an à faire la greffe. C'est mes toutes premières scènes.
So it just took out a pearl, but it came out like grey and not shiny, and so he's saying you can tell that the oyster is sick. So although it was like a really big pocket, it didn't do very well. So he's just cut it open because that's the oyster is now at end of life, so you can see everything that's inside. On peut manger?
On peut manger.
Le coloris.
Oui, this.
Après vu.
So the nucleus, this is what the pearl begins life as, and it's made from a mollusk, so another kind of shellfish effectively. And that is what gets implanted in, and then the pearl grows around that inside the oyster. It's kind of like keyhole surgery almost. This is really cool. Okay, so this dish tool, this really, really small dish tool, they have different sizes for the different years or different ages of the oyster,
Okay.
based on the size of the nucleus. But the other side is for making the incision, for implanting the nucleus.
It's so tiny and detailed. You've got to have steady hands for that. Right, you're up. I've landed you in it now. You're going to have a go. And
Oh, wow.
do
Okay.
the next one.
You sure?
Right, he's in the hot seat.
Drop ta pince.
Okay.
We're going to open it up with the tool.
And how far?
Pince, c'est cut top. More.
There was a crack. He's broken it.
Oh, cassé.
He did break it.
Cassé là, regarde.
No.
C'est pas grave, c'est...
I'm so sorry. Pardon.
C'est comme ça, ben, on coupe alors.
What do I do now?
So we're going to cut this one open because it's broken now.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You're going to have to eat it now.
I guess so. And I had a good pearl.
Yeah, so we could see the shell on that oyster was ill. It had some kind of disease on it, which meant it was really weak. So as we opened it up, that's why it cracked. I think they might just be being nice to us to make it not feel so bad, but we'll take it. Right, let's see if we can have another go. Okay, so opening it up, but gently this time.
Arrête-moi, okay? So, in, open. I can't see anything. Okay, je regarde le pearl. I see the pearl. And then the scary bit.
Mais dernier.
That's crazy. Wow, it's bleu noir.
Yeah.
It's so dark. Look how black it is.
Uh-huh.
A petit vert, a little bit green. That's amazing. Wow.
Taking life into your hands now. He's been invited to put the nucleus in as well.
It's that? Okay.
Dans le plus petit.
So I'm going to go for one of the small ones. And then
Après, il faut essayer de voir l'incision. et
open
essayer de
this
crocher.
incision. Yes.
Find the little bit where it came out from before
Ouais.
and put it in exactly the same spot.
This is terrifying.
We're all terrified for
Voilà,
you.
ça?
Oui. Après, mets dedans.
Oh, I
In
push it
behind.
under.
Voilà.
Okay.
Ouais. Bravo. Bon, on est dedans là. Non.
No?
Oui,
Really?
dedans. Ouais, fini. Bravo.
Wow, hey! Okay, I'm still terrified, but I didn't kill it.
You didn't kill
survived.
it.
And
Well
we
done.
harvested a pearl and then put the nucleus all the way back in the same little sack.
Yeah, I thought that was the tricky bit, to find the same bit to put it back
little
in.
bit. So I think I'll come back next year and we can just, I will see this pearl through to its parenthood, or this oyster through every year its life.
I
feel
like
I have
that.
a
Find that
special
exact
attachment.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll recognize it, definitely.
Well, obviously, me and that oyster go back a long way now. We have a special bond. Nitayuki is just taking pictures because this is the first harvest of the season. So the colors that have come out in that first one-year-old oyster is just fantastic. There's a whole array from like truly black all the way up to, I think, peacock was one. Peacock. It was like so many different colors and almost bands down through the pearl.
So intrigued. So this is another part of the harvesting process, but our French is not good enough to quite understand what we're doing or why. So I've cut away the muscle from the inside of the oyster, and that's what we have here. But I don't know what you use the muscle of an oyster for. And they look like just long, skinny slugs.
Il faut mettre ça dans la poche avec le nucleus.
So the grey bit would just give you a pearl that was this whitish colour. Whereas if you choose the part of the muscle that I guess grew further out into the colour, that's where you then introduce that colour into next year's pearl. So we're picking up one tiny piece
Après, tu emmènes dessus, hein? Dans la poche, il est dans la poche.
and then you put it into the pocket
Tu essaies
just
de mettre dessus.
next to each other like that.
Oh,
Il est comme ça dans la poche. Hein?
Putting it right inside the pocket with it. C'est fini.
C'est fini.
And that's it done. J'ai pensé, la première fois, il doit...
Oui. Première fois,
Vous savez?
c'est ça, il y a ce que je suis en train de faire là.
Mais la deuxième fois, non?
Non, ce qu'on a fait au début alors.
Ok, mais c'est oui, c'est le deuxième, non?
Oui, c'est le deuxième. C'est juste pour vous montrer, hein? Pour vous montrer quoi.
Ah.
Comme voilà, c'est juste pour vous montrer.
Pardon.
Voilà. Comme ça, vous voyez, au moins, comment
Ah, got it.
c'est la
Okay,
deuxième,
okay.
mais voilà.
Wait, wait.
Excellent. Okay.
So that took me
Merci.
a very, very long time to understand.
Wow, okay. Pardon.
So we did a whole bunch of them and just put a nucleus in. And then for like the last 4, Mantiki was like, oh, well, now we're going to put in the muscle as well, and that adds the color. And we were like, yeah, but how are you going to remember which ones you've put the muscle in and which ones you haven't? Turns out you only do that the first time when you're very first planting the first nucleus, because after that, as the muscle grows, it gets its color. But he was just doing that to show us so that we see the process. So now I get it.
Look at the color.
So then the final part of the process is to then tie them all back onto the string and then take them back into the sea to start their second year of growth. So we're going to see if we can actually be of any help here and repair some of the process that we may have slowed down today.
This is quite close to sewing, and that's your domain, not mine. So I figure I can't destroy all of them, right?
Well, that sounds like a challenge, so careful now.
No, let's not go there. So yeah, the same string that the oysters are living on literally gets used to tie it to the float or the line between the floats, and that's it. It's finished. It's as simple as that. I would say simple. I did a terrible job, so clearly it's a specialist.
So after all of that, the very, very final stage is we're going to hang the basket or the cage of oysters back on the string out in the middle of the lagoon so that it can live its lovely oyster life for the next 12 months until Ian's pearl has grown up for the next harvest.
That was ridiculously cool.
Oh, that was so much fun. I never really knew what we were going to find out or if we would find a pearl, but we didn't really find a pearl. You actually are a farmer now. You harvested your own one.
I'm a pearl father and a pearl farmer.
Congratulations, pearl father.
So special.
So yeah, we bought a couple and then he gave us a few more, including some super little wonky ones, which I absolutely love.
It's funny. So I think when they farm them here, and it's much like most farming, so the going rate for pearls is obviously very different when you take them straight from the oyster as to when you might buy them in a shop ready mounted on jewellery.
Yes.
So we kind of went, I think we have to kind of say thank you for your time today. You've certainly gone out your way.
Yeah.
And so he said, yeah, we'd love to buy a couple of pearls from you. And we kind of named our price and he looked at us and for how many? Because I think we named a price.
We named a price for one and he was like, is that all the ones you want? And we were like, well, no, that seems really cheap. I don't want to take advantage of you.
So we gave him what we think is appropriate, at which point he then filled it out with another 3.
Yeah, he was just like, oh, keep taking these things.
And then he's like, why don't you take a couple of other pearls as well, just so you've got the collection. So we literally have the full cycle here.
Yeah.
Drop them in there. Drop them in there. There you go.
Oh, nearly dropped it.
It's like one of those games, they roll around everywhere. So now we have the full cycle, and he actually gave us a snack because the oysters didn't make it, you might have noticed. They turned into a handy snack / late lunch. It was good.
Yeah, the camera battery died, so we didn't get footage of Ian tasting the oyster, but I promise you, he ate it and swallowed it and didn't throw it.
Wait, I have a conflict. I'm a father, a farmer, and a cannibal? No, not cannibal. I can't be a cannibal.
But hey, that was pearl farming in Ahe, and now I don't think we have a new career. Let's stick to sailing.
I think it would be risky. We don't succeed in sailing. We probably wouldn't succeed in farming.
Oh, yeah, good point. Okay, well, we'll keep searching.
We're a lost cause. I think you're making it a little bit unfair, Brownie.
I'm making it so much harder. But I'm getting a great shot.
It's,